I always assumed that treachery would be met with a bang, a slammed door, a yelling match, or at the very least, a warning. But when it was all over, Carson, my brother-in-law, smirked, and it was quieter, colder, almost clinical. He stood in my office, wearing the title of co-president like a borrowed crown, the tag still hanging off it. He tossed my nameplate into a cardboard box without even looking at it, like he controlled the place I built. "You don't have what it takes to run a business," he said sneeringly, flicking his wrist like he was tidying up a desk. The words "little man" rang in my mind like a dropped wrench. I wasn't particularly tall, but that wasn't his intention. With Carson, it was always about power. He stood smug in a suit I probably paid for in a company I helped build, believing he had it all. From behind him, framed in sunlight and shadow through the glass wall, Harper, my wife, or at least the woman who used to be, stood watching. To be honest, she didn't say a word. Her lips didn't move. Her eyes didn't seek mine for understanding. She just stood there, chin up, eyes dry, silent as stone, guilty. Carson had thrown my career into a box. 15 years of early mornings and late nights reduced to framed photos and a few trinkets. A picture of Harper's, arm around me from our first hotel opening, used to sit beside my monitor. Now it was face down. The glass cracked. Carson clapped once. "Security will walk you out," he said, like dismissing a waiter. I turned to Harper. "Is this really happening?" She didn't flinch, because for her it was already finished. Her voice wasn't cruel, just hollow, and that made it worse. I didn't argue. I only paused as I passed Carson, box in hand. "You're right," I said, low and steady. "I don't have what it takes to run a company." He arched an eyebrow, arrogant to the end. "Short, sharp delusions won't save you," he said, chuckling. I leaned in, just enough for only him to hear. The chatter outside the office slowed. Heads turned. Employees I had mentored and hired were eating lunch without making eye contact. One or two gave subtle, ashamed nods. But it was clear, Rowan was out. I kept my head down. Silently rode the elevator. In the brushed metal walls, my reflection looked older, tired, but not defeated. The parking garage was damp. The air was thick with fumes and the bitterness of endings. I placed the box gently on the back seat of my car, closed the door, stood still. My phone buzzed, probably a calendar reminder. I didn't check. My fingers tightened, then loosened. They thought they knew everything, but they didn't. 15 years ago, Harper's father, August, pulled me aside when I first joined Delroy Hotel Group. Steel-spined, sharp-eyed, he built an empire through charm and cunning. "Son," he told me, "if you don't own the land the building sits on, none of it matters." That stuck with me. While Harper chased aesthetics and buzzwords, while Carson flexed in meetings, I listened, and I acted quietly, methodically. I took control of the side acquisition teams, New Orleans, Aspen, Westmere, used my own money, called in favors, navigated the legal channels. Eventually, I owned something they never even thought to consider. The land beneath the hotels, titled, legal, untouched, all in my name, through a shell company. Their empire stood on my foundation. They thought I was just the guy with the spreadsheets, the quiet operator, but beneath that, I had the blueprint. That night, sitting alone in my apartment, I pulled out the deeds, time-stamped, verified, each one mine. The old leases had a 36-month clause, 15 months left. That gave me 21 months to make a decision. How much would they pay to keep the ground beneath their feet? How far would they go to believe they'd won? To let Carson strut around like he owned something? Let them celebrate in the penthouse. Let them drink champagne in the boardroom. They thought I lost, but I hadn't, because when the lease expires, they'll come crawling. And I won't need a smirk. Just a number on a piece of paper. Market rate. No family discount. No favors. Maybe. I'll even send Carson his old nameplate with the word evicted etched into it. I leaned back in my chair. City lights flickered beyond the window, betrayed by the woman I loved, dismissed by my own family, deleted like a typo in a press release. But the foundation? That was still mine. I had dinner in the same place I had 10 years ago. Sticky. Menus. Mismatched coffee mugs. Burnt toast. It was the kind of place where deals were made and everyone knew your name. Greasy bacon, scrambled eggs. A place where the world could wait. That's what I needed. A space to think, without Harper's cold silence filling the room. And in our old booth, August Delroy was already waiting. He looked older now, hair thinner, shoulders bent, a face shaped by a lifetime of war with the world and his own family, his eyes still sharp, still dangerous, not like Carson, loud and self-impressed. August was lethal in quiet ways. "Rowan," he said, warm but tired. "Sit. Have a coffee." I sat. He drank. His eyes didn't leave mine. "You heard, I take it?" I nodded. A lump sat in my throat. The betrayal burned more with each breath. Still couldn't believe how fast it had all crumbled. How Harper, the woman I trusted, could stand by her brother's side and watch it happen. "You don't agree with what they did," I whispered, finally meeting August's gaze. He sighed. "I don't agree with much these days, Rowan." He set his coffee down harder than necessary. "I see myself in Carson. Determined. Merciless. But he's not me. He uses power like a weapon, not something you earn. He forgets what built this company." He paused. "Harper." He looked away, searching for lost words. "She married you because you were safe. Now she's playing Carson's game." I swallowed hard. Let that truth settle. Harper, always the flawless one in his eyes, now chasing a legacy that didn't match her soul. I leaned forward. "There's something they don't know," I said. "I own the land, beneath the hotels, the leases. Expire in 3 months. August narrowed his eyes. I couldn't tell if he was impressed or worried. But I kept talking. "I won't cut them a break." "Not anymore." August's voice dropped. "What if they don't agree to your terms?" I stared at him. Steady. Certain. "Then they lose everything."